So it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I just got back from the hospital. I had labs done. I have an appointment today and thought I'd give you guys kind of an idea of what I'm going through.
The day before my 17th birthday, I was diagnosed with IgA nephropathy. Basically what that is my body is attacking itself, which is what an autoimmune disease is. But in my case, it's attacking the kidney or kidneys. And so I managed to maintain my kidney function for a while, got married to my high school boyfriend, and at the age of 20, I had my girls, which best day of my life. But that pregnancy was very hard on me. I had them at 29 weeks because I had preeclampsia, had blood pressure, all kinds of stuff that was causing some issues, and they decided that it was just better to take them early than it was to wait and risk the lives of my babies and me. And so a few months later, we really saw a decline in my kidney function. And so about, I think a year after I had the girls, I officially had to go on dialysis, which was a bummer. They had just turned 1, and I had some health complications with my dialysis port. It got infected and I was in the hospital. I missed the girls' first steps, and it was just really rough. But in middle of dialysis, my husband and I split, which was really hard. So I basically went through most of this by myself. I did have the support of my parents, but and then I think at 21 or 22, I had my first kidney transplant. It was from a lady that, she was from New Mexico. My parents knew her mom, and she just felt called, and she packed up her stuff, moved from New Mexico to Oklahoma, and started testing. And sure enough, she was a close enough match. Kidneys don't have to be a perfect match. It helps. The closer you are, obviously, the better it'll be and last longer. But it doesn't have to be a perfect match like a heart or anything. So we did the testing, which is kind of a process. The biggest problem with blood work is that you can have the same blood type and still not be a match. They check for, I can't even remember what it's called, but basically the blood can react badly to their blood, which was the case for my current husband this time around, which is why he couldn't donate. But she was a close enough match, and I got my transplant January 3rd, I believe. And it worked great. I had 2 rejections, but it was just a matter of getting a couple of prednisone infusions, and it was fine. It was nothing that I did, nothing that could have been prevented. It just sometimes happens. So remarried, and 7 years later, girls, stop fighting. I'm recording a video, please. Twins. Anyways, they told me that my kidney was failing, and this time around, I was devastated because I had had a transplant and I felt like I had done something wrong. Unfortunately, sometimes kidneys just don't last, or organs don't last during after transplant. It's kind of just kind of hope and pray thing. But anyways, I went on the list. I got lucky this time around because they said what caused it was donor-specific antibodies. And when you have those, it can make it harder for you to get a transplant because you're more likely to have a bad reaction with the other person's blood. So my husband got tested. He was devastated when he couldn't donate. I was devastated because we were so sure, because he's universal blood type, and we just knew for sure it was going to be perfect match. You know, it was meant to be. Didn't work out, and I was devastated. So I started dialysis in April, and by September, I got the phone call. During the summer, it was really hard. My girls were a lot older than they were the last time. The last time they were babies. This time they were 10. And it was devastating because all they wanted to do was hang out with mommy. They're at this fun age where they can go play and want to swim. And like, my kids wanted to go to the water park. Well, thankfully I had my husband, who's just been amazing through all of this. And he was able to play with them and kind of lessen the blow a little bit. But it was just hard. It was hard.
I found your magnetic eyelashes.
So I got the call in September. Okay, can you stop? It's okay. They're broken anyways. So in September I got the phone call, and we had just gone to Taco Bell to get some dinner. One of my daughters was at Miley. She was at a friend's house, and Mia was with us, and we were on our way back home, and I got a phone call, and it was from my doctor's office, and I thought, that's so weird. It's like 9:30 at night. I was like, they wouldn't just be calling me for no reason. So I answered, and they said, can you come in? We have a kidney for you. And we just, like, I was hyperventilating. I was so excited because I was so sure it was going to be like 2 or 3 years before I got a transplant, not a few months. And so I was so ecstatic. And so we went back to our neighborhood, went to my one of our neighbors' houses, which is where my daughter was at. And they were excited. They were freaking out. I was freaking out. Our neighbor even called their mom and said, Holly's getting a transplant. And so it was amazing. And I was so happy. But then we had to get to the hospital, and I had to be in the hospital within I think I had like an hour and a half, 2 hours to go home, pack, get ready, get my stuff to the hospital. And so we got there. We actually got there a little bit early. They didn't have the room ready for us because with like a kidney, they decided, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. They decided that they were gonna do the transplant in the morning because they have procedures that they have to do. They have to get you prepped. You have to go in. You have to do lab work because they had to do that blood test, that scary blood test, which could determine that it might not be a match. So I went in, did the blood work. They came back and said, transplant's on, it's a match. And so I had to get my shower where they give you some stuff to scrub down with. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. So I had my transplant the following morning. I believe it was September 7th, I think. It was all just kind of a blur. And it was perfect. The only thing that I've had a problem with this time is this was not a living donor. This was, from what I was told, a 15-year-old kidney. We don't know the story. We don't know what happened. We just know that this 15-year-old and his family decided to donate the organs. And I was blessed enough to be able to receive one of those organs. So if you're listening, I can't thank you enough, because it changed not just my life, but my kids' lives. It gave them their mom back. It gave my husband his wife back. So say hi.
Hi.
So I got my transplant, and everything has been going so well this time. It's different than the last time I had my transplant. I haven't had a rejection. We did have a little bit of a scare because my creatinine kind of creeped up, and it was a matter of adjusting medicines and my blood pressure medicine, and everything went back to normal. I had my appointment. I had the labs and everything. Labs came back great, other than my prednisone, or not prednisone, my Prograf levels, which is an immunosuppressant. It keeps my immune system from going into overload and going back to attacking my kidney. But anyways, it was like doubled. And I think it was just a fluke. Maybe I took my medicine too close to the time I got labs done or something. So I got a retest in a week. And then that was from my transplant team that I saw. I saw my regular nephrologist or kidney doctor the week before, and they got lab results back for my parathyroid test, which sometimes when you're on dialysis, your parathyroid starts having some issues, and it can start, you can start losing calcium from it, and it weakens your bones. And typically after you have a transplant, it'll go back to normal. Well, my vitamin D is extremely low, and so they're putting me on some vitamin D3 and to try and get that up. But other than that, everything looks really good. I'm so grateful for all the family and friends that I've had supporting me through all of this. It was devastating when I found out I was rejecting my first kidney. And this time around, I'm terrified every time I go to the doctor, because I'm just waiting for that rug to be pulled out from under me, and it's scary. But I mean, I've got people to lean on and to cry with. And trust me, there's been a lot of tears through all of this, but I mean, so far so good, and we can only hope for the best. I pray for people to realize that kidney issues are very common. So if you haven't checked your blood pressure in a long time, please do it. That was the first thing that we realized was wrong. I was studying blood pressure in anatomy class in high school, and we happened to take it, and it was like, I don't remember, 200 over like 100 and something. And my teacher was just like, whoa, that can't be right, you know. So we retook it, and sure enough, and I was getting headaches, and we just thought maybe it's sinus problems, I don't know. And I mean, turns out I had a really serious condition, and so you just never know. And it's a silent killer. You don't realize it sometimes until it's too late, until you've had a stroke or whatever. And I mean, all you have to do is check your blood pressure. It's as simple as that. And if it's high, go see your doctor. I mean, you can go to Walmart and check your blood pressure in one of those little machines, and it's no big deal. Anyways, I just love you guys, and I hope my story maybe helps someone else out there that's going through something similar. It's a lot more common than you realize, and there's a lot of people that are in need of transplants. And so if you're not an organ donor, I beg you, please go check that little mark when you go get your driver's license. It's not going to do you any good after you're gone. Anyways, I love you guys. Take care. Bye.